Yo, welcome to another episode of the BJJ GOONS podcast. I'm your host, Tim the Mushmaster Spriggs, and sitting with me today is my co-host, Nico, and we have a special guest today, Alan Finfou Nascimento. He's been around the world competing for decades. He is a world champion, European champion. He's been around the world, Brazilian national champion, excellent coach. He's coached Alexander Gustafsson and Adam Wardzinski, amongst many others. So I'd like to welcome our friend Finfou. How are you doing today, Finfou?
Oh, good. Thank you so much, Tim. Thanks so much, Nico, for the opportunity. It's great to see you guys. You know, this time of the year, we pretty much are used to meet each other in the World Championship, but unfortunately this year, that wasn't able to happen, but it's amazing to see you guys from here.
Same.
It's awesome. So for people that don't know, so like me and Tim, we're doing a special filming. It is Sunday morning because we're here in the U.S. on the East Coast. Finfou has been living in Sweden for I don't know how many years. How long?
15 years.
15 years. Wow, longer than I've been doing jiu-jitsu. He's been teaching out in Sweden, which is amazing. So we had to like make some some reorganization with the time, which is really cool to be able to have you here and talk a little bit about what's going on with COVID and quarantine with you and also in the favela, in the community, because you come from the Cantagalo favela in Rio de Janeiro. So I've been doing a lot of research and a lot of following everything that's going on down there and seeing how they're kind of like distributing help in the community. But also kind of interested to see what you're doing now in Sweden and when you're going to be getting back to training, to cornering, and to competing and everything. All right, so the first question I have for you, I guess, time for the questions?
Yes, let's get started.
All right, so
Let's do it.
the first thing that I wanted to ask is the main thing I've been covering on COVID in the favela is the distribution of this thing called like a cesta básica. So it's like a basic basket, which is a super weird translation if you're trying to translate something literally. But the way I understand it is it's kind of like what we would call like government cheese or our welfare system or an EBT card, because we all have cards here that we can just swipe and go to the grocery store. So could you explain what is a cesta básica?
Cesta básica it's pretty much of like the basic things that a regular poor family in Brazil are able to survive with, when it comes to food and things that they can at least provide for their house and the family. Basically, in the cesta básica, the ground thing that you're always gonna see in a cesta básica for the people in favela will be rice, beans, salt, sugar, some spaghetti, oil.
Mm-hmm.
So those basic things that sounds basic, but means a lot for the people that lives there. And I remember that I was raising my grandma's house, and pretty much of those kind of donation of cesta básica that the church around Copacabana and Ipanema was giving for the families from Cantagalo. This was pretty much of what me and my family have been, surviving the entire life, because grandma was taking care of their house with the minimum salary together with grandpa. But after grandpa also retired, so more people in the house was like 9 persons and a dog. So the cesta básicas from the church was a big bless that, helped us a lot.
Right.
Was it enough food for all of you? Like, was it enough or did you have to?
I mean, it's like many times living in the favela and seeing the family situation. I think like those miracles that Jesus was doing back in the days to multiply things, I think that happening in the favelas of Rio every day. Somehow, I have no idea, but somehow things work it out, somehow. I remember that, that was days that my grandma and grandpa, especially, they are the head of the family, and they couldn't eat as much as they could provide for me, for example, and the rest of the childs that they have. But still, sometimes we can eat 2 times, and sometimes we could eat one. But still, somehow the miracles of the multiplying things was going on all the time.
Yeah. That's crazy. So, like you mentioned that you were getting the cesta básicas from church, and that kind of brings up another question I have, because I see people that are getting them because, for example, I work with Terere Kids Project. So I know that people who are registered in Terere Kids Project have been put onto like cesta básicas that they're getting from Nobre Arte, which is another nonprofit, a boxing gym, a very big and affluent boxing gym that's at the top of the favela. So they provide, and they have been providing for almost 6 months, 20 cesta básicas to the families from Terere Kids Project. And then I also know that like when COVID hit, there was another nonprofit that actually has nonprofit status in Brazil in the favela, a surf club. And it's really hard to get like nonprofit status. So I know since COVID hit, they've also been distributing food baskets, but it seems like the way that they're issuing them are to kids and families that are already registered in social projects. And not people that might not be involved in any kind of activity. So how do people get these food baskets, and how would they get them now in times like COVID where they need this extra help?
Right now, as you said, we have some organizations like Nobre Arte, for example. There is one of the first gyms that we have in Cantagalo that been there for long, that is providing. But those things that you need to be registered in some kind of project activity in the Cantagalo, it's out now. It's basically for everybody right now. The situation changed, so we have to readapt the concepts. Because right now doesn't matter if you have your kids in the project or not. All the organizations are working together. Also, you have the favelas of club. We have the Nobre Arte that is already doing the work. There is have been some restaurants from downtown that have been providing some foods for the people in Cantagalo, and the Checkmate Europe. I mean, Master Ricardo Vieira. We start, and all the coaches around of the Checkmate team around Europe. Lee, Jackson, Max, Canha, João, Rico. We start to try to get some donations so we can send the money to people in Brazil, and they can buy more cesta básicas to try to help more. I mean, the situation right now is hard for everybody. People are not making money, and people are losing money too. Mm-hmm. But in the middle of this chaos, one positive thing that for us that live in Europe that happened now is that the Brazilian money is really low. Yeah. So whatever 20 euros, whatever 100 euros that we can make it, it's 500-600 reais that can provide for like 3 or 4 families. Mm. So this is making a lot of difference, right now in these times, a lot of difference. The lucky that we have is that the Brazilian money is really low.
Yeah, it is true. Like the exchange rate, I think it's like 1 to 4, 1 to 5. So it does matter. And when I was talking to some people in Sao Paulo, they were telling me like the average cost of a cesta básica is only about $14, to create one. So I'm not sure if a lot of people realize that like the Checkmate and Fight Zone, is that the original Checkmate?
Yes. No, I mean, Fight Zone is the name of the gym.
And it's actually favela. I don't know if a lot of people know that. And like Rico has also been doing a lot of social work. He used to have a project.
Wow. I mean,
so I don't know if people realize his connections to the community.
It's crazy. I mean, him and Leo, Leo, that is one thing that people don't say, especially Leo. He not even like when I say this because I was there. Because once Terere got some problems, with some guys from Pavão back in 97, 98 because of girls. So, and then Leo found out. That was the time that Leo started to bring Tererê to São Paulo. You know, Leo was super afraid. Leo was super afraid that something could happen to him there because he, but I mean, the way things got to Leo's ear, you know, like was super exaggerated.
Yeah.
Leo, take it out from there, otherwise things gonna happen. You know?
Yeah.
So, and then we always have like Leo, Rico, and Leandro close with us in the favela. First, they was living right down the favela, and they studied in the same school as us. So, and then we always. I mean, I didn't know what jiu-jitsu was, but those guys, they was already doing jiu-jitsu forever. But I always saw them in the school, you know. So, and the same like when we was playing football, they play in the team of the favela. When we play on the beach or when we play in futsal, Rico, Leo, even Cumprido have been playing a couple of times too. So those guys, they always have something like, somehow they always been connected with Cantagalo.
Yeah.
You know. So I think like the jiu-jitsu actually just put everybody in the same direction, but they somehow always been connected with the community.
All right. Well, you said that happened in like 97, right? And like, as far as I can like dig up, like social projects in Galo started around 99, 2000. And there's always the debate about who was first, like Terere or Hiko. So like, if that was happening, and if not, how'd you guys go from fighting over girls in 97 to starting like running free programs for kids in Galo?
You know, actually, I mean, social projects in Cantagalo that if I can think back, the most I mean, well organized one, and today's like the oldest one there is the Nobre Arte boxing gym with Master Claudio Coelho. I think they are there since, I don't know, early 90s, if I can be precise, maybe 19. I would say 93, max. I mean, they start way before everybody. And Terere, in the end of 96, he started to teach BJJ for us. Was the first jiu-jitsu project in Cantagalo. But there was one guy he's a black belt from De La Riva. His name is Rogério Raji. He was already trained at De La Riva, but he was putting a carpet on the floor and a concrete on top of the roof of his house. And he invited the guys from Cantagalo, from Pavão, and put us to just try to kill each other there, like, you know, on the concrete and everything. And then a couple of years later, Terere managed to get one spot in a place that today it's a kindergarten on the hill of the favela. And that was when Terere started build the real project with jiu-jitsu. We didn't even have a name. You know, we was training for the Alliance team, and our gym specifically didn't have any name. So Terere was the one that started the jiu-jitsu, you know, in the competition wise, and because he was the first guy from favela that ever started to be like seen in the jiu-jitsu scenario. And in 97 was when Terere won the worlds as a purple belt, double gold, and then he got mats and a space to teach. He pick up us, he started to teach everybody, and that was when everybody started to take us to competitions and all that. And during this time was when I found out that Leandro, Rico, they was from jiu-jitsu, and Leandro was already, I don't know, blue belt, Rico was purple belt, and Leo was brown belt.
Oh wow!
So, and me, Bruno Matias, we were white yellow belt. Leo was already orange belt, Terere's cousin, but because he already trained with Rico and the guys downtown, since they were Alliance team. So the history was this: Terere was the guy that started everything. But then in 2003, end of 2003, beginning 2004, Terere opened the TT team. He came to Cantagalo and explained to everybody that he had the dream to open his own team. And because he was already located in São Paulo, he wouldn't have time to be in Rio teaching us. So during the times that Terere was coming to Rio and back to São Paulo, he brought Rico to favela and say, guys, I'm going to be coming and going all the time, but most in São Paulo, I want Rico to teach you guys here. So Rico was already have the Fight Zone gym downtown, and he have to come up and teach us 1 hour every day. And then when Terere finally decided that he would step out from the team, he said, he was honest with everybody. And some people didn't like it, and some people understood him. I was one of the guys that I understood him, because for the first time, somebody from the favela was getting out of the favela permanent to São Paulo to start his own business, to bring the money to his family, and was a way for us to see that the jiu-jitsu could also give opportunity for us. Because a couple of years before that, it was just one of us playing football, going downtown to fight on the baile funk parties, and no jiu-jitsu in our life. Was just regular guys. And then all of a sudden we see him on magazines, everybody knows him. He got sponsors by Red Nose, Cyclone, many brands that back in the days, the dream of everybody from favela was to have a t-shirt and a short from Cyclone, for example. Later on, he got the sponsor with Adidas, and I was like, man, works for him. I'm gonna do exactly the same thing as him, because then it's my work for me. But the thing was that many people was putting a lot of expectations on Terere personal, because he was one of us, and Terere simply want one guy from downtown to just come to the favela and teach us. We always will respect the one of us. That was the thought back then.
Yeah.
So when Rico started to teach, many guys stopped training. But then as many guys also kept training, slowly the guys start come back and accept it. So, but then if I can say right, maybe 2-3 years later, Terere say, guys, I'm going to São Paulo. I have my own team. I recommend you guys to stay with Rico, because he's here every day, and he's gonna be here teaching you, and I'm not gonna be able to do that. So that was when everybody went to Fight Zone Rio and trained full time with Rico Vieira.
What was the training like? I want to know, like, because you just named killers, like straight up legends. Like, what was the training like every day?
I think to answer your question, Tim, killing.
Kim, the training, I have a picture of a training between you, DJ, Ali, and Everett Santos back in the days. When Master Lloyd probably said, guys, listen, now's the final of the words. That's how the training was. That's how the training was.
I see it now. Okay.
I remember going down to the gym and have this adrenaline, body shaking, like, I know things gonna go, fucked up right now. It's gonna be hell. And I don't know if it was the best or the worst, but for me, the hardest thing to deal was my friends. I knew that if they passed my guard, I would have to hear they making fun at me for a week. If they submit me, there will be 2 weeks of, making fun at me, And if I would get tapped twice, this guy would say, listen, man, only talk to me next month. You can't even mention it. So, so was competitive every day. Every day was really competitive, the training. He could even like didn't allow us to train with the members of the gym, for example. They're regular guys that wasn't competitors. A funny history was that During this time, Caio Terra showed up in the gym, started training there. He also was one of the guys that was training with Rico from the beginning. So, and then one day he wasn't even a blue belt yet. He was a white belt, but training a lot. He came to the project training. So didn't end up so good for him. And then at night, his mama called Rico and said, Rico, what the fuck happened to Caio? He's lying in bed and he had fever now. He's having fever now. Whatever. And then Rico was saying, his mom's name is Claudinha. She also was training a lot with us back then. And say, Claudinha, I told him, this training is not for him yet. His time will come. But actually, man, this guy is tough. Man. He came back.
Oh, man.
He came back. Man.
He didn't quit. He was little. Was he really little there too?
Little, Rooster Division. The same way that President is now, he was already back. You know, like he, Manfacini, and a few other guys, there was always the same Rooster Division. I see those guys fight each other since they were blue belt, blue purple belt.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah.
So,
that's crazy. I forgot that Kim and Caio live right by there too, because I see them all the time. Yeah.
Well, it was good times. It was very good times. You know, I'm actually, I mean, even though I born and raised in the favela, you know, been through a lot of hard things. You know, wasn't nice. You know, some things wasn't even fair. But when it comes to jiu-jitsu, I believe that I be millionaire, because from day one, I got the best education in jiu-jitsu and that I could ever have. So I had Terere that was already 2 times world champion teaching me from day one. And because of the team he belonged, I have the chance to have trainers with Rico, with Leo, Roberto Travin, Fábio Gurgel, Alexandre Paiva, a million different other guys, you know. And during the times that Terere was in São Paulo and then come to Rio for the competitions, and he bring all the guys to his house. In Terere's house was where I met everybody. I met Cobrinha, I met Damian Maia, I met Robert Drysdale, I met Michael Lang, I met Lapella, I met Fredson Alves, I met Leca, I met Saulo Ribeiro, Jacaré. Oh, Jacaré was pretty much leaving that. You know, Ari Faria, since he was yellow belt, he been there. So through all this, man, I couldn't ask for anything more. You know, imagine the guys from, I don't know, north of Brazil. They have to travel to Rio. They training alone up there. Even if they could be, I don't know, with a lot of money, but they didn't have the guys with the super knowledge that we had in Rio back then. So from day one, I always got the best information that was out there, you know. So for me, this was a blast, because from one thing that I heard, actually, Master Lloyd said once, he said like this: Jiu-Jitsu is the only sport that if you are amateur, you have the possibility to share the mat with the professional guys. If you play football, start to play football today, you're never going to play with Messi. You're never going to play with the Cristiano Ronaldo. You're not even going to be in the same football field as them, unless you're in the audience watching them play. Simple as that. If you start to play basketball, you're not going to have the possibility to train and play at the same time as LeBron James is playing. But in Jiu-Jitsu is a whole different thing. Your first day in the gym, Bochecha can just walk in, shake hands, and have the class at the same time as you. You know? So, and I understood this later, but from day one, I could see that the information I have was perfect. You know, for me, this was a blast.
When you started training, it sounds like you had this idea in your mind that you wanted to make it a career. Am I correct?
Yeah, first when Tere introduced us to jiu-jitsu, when I was just training to fight at the school and on the street, man. Was fighting every day team. You know, back in the mid of 80s, the government of Rio built one school where all the projects are nowadays in Cantagalo. They built the school, Brizolão, yeah. They built this school and was like this. Hard to find a school for people from favela, so they built one that everybody from the favelas in the south of Rio could be there. So all the guys from Rocinha, Vidigal, Chácara do Céu, Cantagalo, Pavão, Pavãozinho, Tabajara, Leme, even guys from Mineira. I
That's
remember
what the
Paulo.
block was for?
Mineira was coming. Guys from everywhere. And then imagine that.
That's not what it was like when I saw
That
it.
does not. That sounds like a recipe for a disaster. All those kids from different hoods coming.
But every day was fight for football, for everything. But then I didn't have the mentality of being a competitive athlete. But since Terere took us to competitions, I mean, after a few fights on the street and Terere suspend us from the training, that hurts, bro. That hurts. When Terere started to teach, BJJ become a fever in the whole favela. We were playing football at the school. We were playing football in the weekends in the favela or in the beach. But every day after school, everybody was in the jiu-jitsu. So you got suspended from the BJJ. You didn't have any friends to hang out with. You didn't have anything else to do. So, and then immediately, I remember that like 2 months later, he put us to compete. And then I saw a whole different thing. And before the competition, he took us downtown to Leblon to train at Alexandre Paiva's gym. And then there I saw one guy that was an actor from novela, from Globo, Raul Gazola. I saw guys that was lawyer. I saw guys that was dentist. I saw every kind of people in the mat, and everybody treated us normal. When you grow up in the favelas in Brazil, you walk downtown, you simply start to adapt into yourself this feeling of being guilty of something that you have no idea where it comes from, and just how society, and it is what it is. You raise up like this, and you get into a place where you see everybody there looks totally different than you. They come from a better neighborhood than you, and you expect them to treat you in a different way, but didn't happen. That was like, man, this can't be true. I don't remember what technique we did. I don't remember how the training was, but this was exactly what I left from in my head. I had in my head after I left the gym. Was like, shit, everybody treated us nice, even though there was white guys from downtown. I was like, wow. And then in the competition, I won the fight. I remember I won my first fight, but I submit the boy in the armbar. But when I stood up, I was thinking like, they're not gonna give me the victory anyway. This weird. I don't know why I was thinking that. Yeah, but I know the guy was white, but I don't know where he was from. But I had this feeling, I had this feeling like, yeah, but I'm not gonna win anyway. And then the referee raised my arm, and then I was like, shit, like I can win on this, man. And Terere was very much on us. We win, he was super happy. We lose, he was pissed, mad. And when his brother was losing, he cried even. So, and I was like, shit, he's a world champion. He had a sponsor. I saw him in the magazine. I saw him in the newspaper, and he cares so much about us. So I was paying a lot of attention to the simple things, the small things that was happening around the big picture. Until one day he said, look, man, I'm going to compete in São Paulo. I'm going to compete in Vitória. If you guys keep training, keep competing, one day you guys going to go there. So my dream was just to go to São Paulo. I don't know what to do there, but my dream was that Tereré went to São Paulo. I think if I go to São Paulo, things gonna be good too for me. So by him feed us with a little bit of saying things like, keep training, this is gonna be good. You're gonna see, look at me, I'm here in this magazine. Now the guys give me clothes. Now the guys give me money. I can eat in this place for free because they sponsor me. So I said, I want that for me too. And when he started making money with jiu-jitsu, and I saw he started building his mother and father's house in the favela, because back in the days, many houses in the favela was made by wood and mud. So if you could make a house with bricks and concrete, wow, that was our luxury back then. Nowadays, every house is like this. But back then wasn't so many. And I saw that Tereré was investing, supporting his family a lot. Man, I say, no, I want to do that too. So from the beginning was the feeling of feels equal as everybody that make me say, wow, man, this here, it's nice. Because I've been through all the frustration now in football, in all the sports, not always things are fair. But in jiu-jitsu, I could see that I could win. And the way people was treating me in that gym, I don't know how it is anywhere else, but in that specific gym, in that specific neighborhood, it's one of the most expensive neighborhoods in Rio South. It's Leblon.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody tried to treat me super good there, So for me was what make me I fell in love with the sport. I start like coming the passion to jiu-jitsu for this. I didn't want to be anywhere else. But once I could understand that I could use the passion that I have together with the necessity that my family was going through, and because I could see what Tereré was getting from jiu-jitsu, man, then I say, I want to be competitor and I want to make my career on this. So that was when I could put both elements together, the necessity together with the passion. Then I can't say, from that day on, I couldn't see myself doing anything else than jiu-jitsu.
That's beautiful, man. Like I love jiu-jitsu for the same thing. You can feel empowered, and life isn't fair. But for that 10 minutes that you're on the mat, all your hard work, it doesn't matter whether you're black, white, rich, poor. At the end of the day, the mats don't lie.
True. I tell my students like this, especially the ones that is competitors, and once they start getting the end of the week, I see they're getting tired. They start, it's normal. The training schedule during camp it's hell. We're preparing ourselves for battle, and as a trainer, I need to understand everybody, and I need to let them know what is expecting them there, but I have to guide them, each one of them in a different way. It's not one way for everybody, So I always say to them, listen, all the material things that you have, there is two places that you can, whatever you have, you can never bring in there with you and make a difference with. One is when you die. All the material, all the privilege, everything you have gonna stay, and you are gonna go. And in the mat, my friend, when you step in there, only the jiu-jitsu and the hours you spend here, the quality of the hours, the desire that you have, the dedication, the faith, how much you believe, and how much that is important for you is the only things that you can bring in there. Money, house, doesn't matter. This is not gonna help, man. You have a neck, you better protect. Doesn't matter if you're even a shape. Somebody get there inside of the pyramid in the world championship, they're gonna pull the collar or they're gonna squeeze your neck until you tap or pass out. So this is the real reality. And the jiu-jitsu, man, it's that's where we can actually feel that we can run the same race as everybody. Even though our fight it's way longer than some other people, still when you step in the mat, is a whole different reality, you know. Like Ali said this a few days ago, you know, like our fight as a poor black guy coming from favela Brazil, our fight is from the moment the moment our mother gets pregnant from us. That's when we start.
Yeah, very true.
You know, so and then when we manage to get to places and accomplish things in that modality, that people that didn't run the same race as us from the beginning didn't fight as hard as we've been fighting from the beginning. Man, for me at least, the feeling's priceless. Tim. It's priceless, man. You know, and I carry this with me forever. From when I started until today, people ask me what motivates me, and when I start to say, they understand that it's not a race after material things. I have a lot of things that a lot of people that I, even if they don't think or they don't count on, I love to represent them, you know, because I identified myself with them, and it's the things that motivated me. You know, when we step in there and we accomplish things that, for example, guys from Gracie family haven't been accomplished. You know what I mean? There are Gracie guys that they invented the BJJ, you know, but not everybody is a world champion, even though everybody has been competing. Most of the guys, at least from my generation forward, most of them have been competing, but not every one of them have been world champion. You know what I mean? So that's for me is where I see the beauty of the thing. You know, when we have everything to go wrong, but we simply destroy the odds. You know, don't give even a chance for the odds try to, you know, say anything towards us. This is the most priceless things I can have.
So at what point did your family accept the idea of, like, because especially if you go back to saying like you were raised in a house with 9 people on some cesta básicas trying to do jiu-jitsu, because I know in the United States of America, you know, in a suburban house, 4.5 of every 5 jiu-jitsu practitioners has at least one parent begging them to get a real job. So
man, listen, it took a while. They were like, Tim, you got a college degree. Like, why don't you go? Like, no, I'm fighting. I don't care. This is the only one time in this. Listen, when you said like this is the only time in your life where like it's fair and like it's a fair fight, that's what I was like, yo, I gotta do it. Like, this is my chance to be an athlete and travel the world.
But can you tell your mother or your grandmother that? Can you go home and tell your mother and your grandmother that? They don't get that. So at what point did your family support your dream?
Listen, I can tell you exactly everything is specific. Their whole life have been, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do that. They never explain me why. Or you do in a good way, or you're gonna do in a bad way. Simple as that, you know. And was no joke when grandma take us was brutal, you know. So, you know, was like until I was purple belt, you know, when I finished the gymnasium. At the same time, I was finishing the army service in Brazil. So during the time I was serving the army, I was making 109 reais. So, and then
a week, a month.
But for the first 3 months, you get 50. I was getting 53 reais because of the uniforms that you're gonna have. So they take the money from the uniforms. But either way, the family was happy. This couldn't stop me because I was military. I was the last year finishing the school, and I was bringing something home. Some money, man, was coming home. So, and then after the army service was gone, I didn't have any job. The school was done. No money for university and get the education. So the pressure started. Oh, this jiu-jitsu thing, not gonna take you anywhere. You better find a job and start to help in the house. No, but I wanna train. Okay, find a job. You can work the whole day. You train at night, but you have to bring money home. You know, back and forward, and then I search for job, never comes. Until one day, I had a bad day in the training. And then I had a conversation with the family. I say that I want to fight, and if they don't let me eat in the house, fine. But I'm not going to quit jiu-jitsu. So I kept training Rico's gym. And this time we were already training Fight Zone in Rio. And I didn't have enough food to eat during the day. I was training, and I asked Rico, let me help you with the classes just so I can train more because I don't have anything to do. Mm. So he was holding the class and tell me, start the warm up. When he do the technique, he shows on me. And then I was doing the training with everybody. So, and then one day I faint. I was so weak, I faint. And then Rico wanted me to go to the hospital because a few other days I was feeling dizzy, you know. And then one day I have to tell him, you know, I'm not eating so much. I'm explaining the situation. My family wants me to stop to find a job, and it's hard. And then he said, man, I can't pay you, but every day you're here, you're going to eat the same thing as I eat, and I want to take care of you. So I was in the gym. His mama bring breakfast. We did the training, and then after the project training that was from 12 to 1, and then first was the 10:30 train to 12, and then the competition train 12 to 1, and then we went to his house. His mama make food. We eat, we rest, and then 4:30 back to the gym, teach the beginners, and then the night class, and then his mama gave me food too. So, and then one day, in the Mother's Day, everybody was in grandma's house, you know, and family together, it's a box of powder, you know.
Oh gosh.
After a while, they start to drink, man, and then the conversation start again. Alan, you too big now, man. You need to find a job. And this and that. This jiu-jitsu thing not gonna take you anywhere. And my mama was there, grandma, everybody. But the most ones that was saying so much was my uncles, you know. And my grandma, my grandpa, they have to go together with everybody. Say. And then one day I said to them, I say, guys, listen, my whole life I only did everything that you guys want me to do, and I never questioned. You never asked if I want to do, but I did. And then they say to me, like, what have you done that we told you to do and you did? What we ever forced you to do? I say, study. You never asked if I like to study or not. But you told me to do. And I remember one time when I didn't do good at the school, you beat me up in the house, and I have to fix it. You know, when you don't get enough grades, and then you have to study during the vacation time from the school breaks. Mm-hmm. Oh man, I came home and I had to say that. Grandma beat me first, grandpa later, my father was like one at the, you know. And I went back and I solved, but they never asked if I like it. So, and then everybody was quiet. They didn't have anything to say. Mm. I say, even talk back to you guys. This is the first time in my life that I ever done. I always listen. I always put my head down, and I did exactly as you say. But now, I like this. It's the only thing that I feel that I love to do. So then there was just quiet, and the day they start to support me in jiu-jitsu was when CBJJO came with some competitions that they give money. Mm-hmm. And back then, the minimum salary in Brazil was like 280 reais. And for the purple belt, they have a competition that they pay 300 reais. And if you would win the open class, you'd get 300 more. So one day I went there as a purple belt. I didn't even have a gi because the gi I had was broken and I had patches all over the gi. Because in each place I have a patch was a hole that my grandma covered with one patch, you know. So I went to the competition with my belt in my hand. And then I asked one friend to borrow me his gi after he fought. And then I won the division, the open class then. They have two open classes, one light, one heavy. Then I won that. So I went home with 600 reais. I came home to try to give money to them. And first thing my grandma did was hit me in the face. And I didn't understand what happened. Then she said, hey, you're going to start selling drugs. You're selling drugs now like your father. She said, no, I fought. I explained to her, I fought. There is a competition that give you money. Then she said, you do this for more than 10 years and you never got one real. And now you come here with 600. Go back. I don't want this money here. Then I asked Rico to come there and talk to her before my grandpa came, you know, because if my grandpa came, there would be no conversation. So they was like hard on me. And then I 1 week later, they put up the pictures from the competition. And I went to an internet cafe so I could print the photos. And I said, look, I fought. And then they start, you know, support me more. They start to believe it. And after that, I felt that my family embraced me very much, you know. Most of the times I lost fights, you know, even though they knew that I really much want to win like every competitor. But when the loss came, they always knew that I was devastated. You know, it was like somebody died in the house. Because again, I had this feeling of failing because of the necessity that I saw the family going through every day. You know, grandma and grandpa was already retired. They couldn't work more. They couldn't do more that they already did for the family. No, the rest was on us. And the only way I have to try to make the money was through jiu-jitsu. And I trained the whole day. I just didn't allow myself to lose. You know, it wasn't a way of losing, because if you train 4 times in one day, a guy training 1, you can't lose to this guy. That was my head, you know, that was in my head. And when that happens, you know, even though it wasn't so many times, wasn't often, but when it happened, it was chaos. But my family always was there, you know, with the best of they have, you know, of what they have, to try to make me understand that I would be back, you know, trying to provide to me anyway. So after this time, and I remember it was beginning 2004, things start to get better. But from before that, no, man, was tough. Was tough.
How did you get from Brazil to Sweden? Like, what was the connection? Like, when did you have the ability to start traveling internationally with jiu-jitsu? How did you end up in the position to teach overseas?
Team, you know,
Yeah.
man, it's like Rico, he always been very religious. You know, he and his family, he and Leo and the whole family, and they was on church. And you know, I didn't have much belief. You know, my family, they always have belief in God. I didn't have at all at this time, you know. And he was always somehow try to make us understand that somebody up there is looking after us. But I said, no, this is not true, and this and that and that. So every day he simply start to use it, our own life, our own history, and tell us like this, like, oh man, imagine this. One guy, poor, from favela, that lost father, 2 brothers that got killed, that start selling drugs and became drug dealers and ended up in the conflict with the police and died. Simply managed to become something out of a sport that 20 years ago, no black people, 25 years ago, let's say, no black people from favela was even a option of training jiu-jitsu in Brazil. So, and then he starts saying, man, look, you went through this, and now you don't believe that you can become something more. There was a reason why you didn't die when the guys come in this place shooting everybody. There was a reason why, and then point to another one, that your mama, when they throw her on the streets, she didn't commit a suicide because arms, and she have to provide to you. And today you are here. If somebody would tell you and your mama when you wasn't down the street that this day would happen, you wouldn't believe. So it means that something more is out there. So after a guy starts to say this by using our own life, each one of us and all the guys that we know too, as a way to open our mind, I start to believe in that. And then he, one day he say, Finfou, I'm gonna be holding a camp in Búzios. Was him, Cumprido, and Felipe Costa, Leo Vieira. They have one BJJ camp that calls Brazilian Black Belts. They invite people from other countries and they take to Búzios so they can have a training camp there.
Brussels, like the country?
No, in Búzios. It's
okay.
The island side of Rio.
Okay.
So, and then he said, Finfou, I'm gonna need you to hold the classes. And I was like, but Rico, some guys black belts gonna be here. Then he said, no problem. The black belt come, you say, Rico's not here. He gonna be back Monday, so Rico left on like a Wednesday. He's gonna be back on Monday. I'm holding the class, but if you wanna take charger, please do it. You want the higher belt, or if you do whatever as you want. He always let this clear. And I was like there. Then he say, and make sure that the guys from the project train every day as if I'm here. No problem. So Rico went. Thursday, in that week, one Swedish guy show up there in the project time and asked for training. He came speaking like Spanish, and we could understand a little bit. There was only the favela guys there talking loud, making fun of each other, say, threat to each other, ready to kill. And I say to the guy, I say, man, right now I don't think it's a good time for you. And the guy was a purple belt. I don't think now is a good time for you to train, but you can come for the night class. And they say, no, I want to train with you guys. So, and I say, okay, go in, change, feel like home. So he did the training, and right after this training, when everything was done, he came and said, if you get the opportunity to go to Sweden to teach BJJ there, would you like to go? And I was like, if I get the opportunity to go to another country, I would go tomorrow, my friend. And then he asked me like this, but do you have passport? I was like, what is passport? I don't. I barely have ID. That was it. So and then he explained everything to me. Monday, Rico came back. He talked to Rico. And then Rico said, the opportunity came. You're going to go. But I didn't believe much. Because, people talk a lot and a lot of promise happens, especially when a white guy comes to the favela and promise things, they want us to vote on him. And then when we vote on him, he never do what he promised. So and then he asked me to take him to the favela because he want to talk with my grandma, my grandpa, my friends there. And then he asked to go to a baile funk party also. So we did all this. And this was around August 2004. He was there 1 month. September, he went back to Sweden. And he promised me. He said, I'm going to talk with some friends and I'm going to bring you there. I fixed passport and all these things. And then one day, in the end of November, I got a phone call. A super weird number calling. Then when I answered, it was him. Hey, Fifo, it's Stefan. And I was like, oh, man, what's up? And then he said, listen, this was a Friday night. Listen, Tuesday, you are coming to Sweden. Go to this place. Back then he had a girlfriend. Go to Paulina's house. She have your ticket there. She gonna print electronic ticket for you. You're gonna get a plane in Rio. You're gonna go to Copenhagen. No, you're gonna go to France, to Paris. There you're gonna change plane and go to Copenhagen. And there I meet you. We take a train. We cross the bridge and we are in Sweden. And I was like, man, this guy think that I'm going to the other side of the street. The closest I got from of an airplane was when I'm standing here and the airplane is up there. I didn't know what he was talking about. So I went to her house. I got the ticket. I showed my family. I talked to Rico. And then December 3rd, I arrived here in Malmo, in the south of Sweden. The guy that brought me is Stefan Say. It's like, it's one of the guys that, I don't know, man. I mean, what to say? I've been actually asking him, like, Stefan, why me? Why me? We had Cumprido there, open class world champion, black belt. We have hundreds of black belts there. Many other guys, blue, purple belts that was world champion already then. I was nothing there. I was nothing at this time. You know, and then he just said, I just thought that was the right thing to do. I saw that he was dedicated. But man, the mat was full. You know, then he said, yeah, man, sometimes things just happen for a reason. So, and then he gave me this opportunity. I came here for 3 months in the middle of the winter. You know, I never saw snow in my life and everything.
Did you speak any English?
No, I learned, actually it was like this. When I got here, I remember that he met me at the airport and he gave me 2 things at the airport, right there when he saw me. One big Canada Goose jacket, because it was super cold, and a book with like a dictionary, Portuguese, English. And he said to me, study. And I said to him, like, but I'm in Sweden. Why you want me to learn English?
Uh-huh.
And then he said, like, if you learn Swedish, you're stuck here. But if you learn English, you can get anywhere in the world if you want.
Wow.
Who can say, who can say that you can go to America, you can go to anywhere, because everywhere people speak English. Jiu-Jitsu you already have. The knowledge, you're going to be black belt. But if you can be a black belt, that can be a good teacher, and you can speak fluent in other language, the possibility of you be out of the favela will be big. And then, but it was like this. He gave me that, and then in his house, he teach me how to put on and off the DVD that he have. I put the CDs there, and I was listening to music the whole day. Earth, Wind, and Fire, Phil Collins, Chicago, the Cranberries.
Awesome.
Only like love songs. I say, but I like hip hop. And then they say, try to understand. I don't understand what they speak. So those guys here, they speak slow. And you have the subtitle under.
Yeah.
You listen, you read, and you write down. Man, I was for 3 months only doing that. Or I was doing jiu-jitsu. In Sweden, they was training 3 times a week, 1 time a day. The rest of the days I was studying, writing words in my hand and saying the word 1,000,000 times the same, like in one day. Try to use the word as soon as I talk with somebody. Or I try to make that word familiar with the part of the music.
Mm-hmm. Good idea.
And then I kept remembering the words. So it was a weird way, but I could make one way to also understand how to speak, how to pronounce, how to write and how to read. So I get the translation in Portuguese. I got the word perfect the way it's supposed to be written, but I I wrote down how it sounds
Mm.
in a way that only I can understand them. So, so a few years after that, I found this book this notebook that I had when I came the first time. Was like I could remember everything. And 1.5 months here, and then I could start speaking English straight away.
Wow.
You know,
One and a
so
half
and
months. Wow.
yeah, because I was like I couldn't think in Portuguese. Everything I do since I was living here was in English all the time. And it's so crazy how our brain can just adapt. You know, we got into to I got in a mood of reading and writing that I never have in my entire life in the school. Honestly, you know, I saw that my necessity of communicate and survive in another country was depending on my dedication on learn the language. So and then things just start connected fast. 1.5 months, then I could start speak, talk with people, and writing to people that live in Norway on MSN back in the days just to practice. So I could talk all the time. So and then when I went back to Brazil in March 2005, I already knew what I want. I had a totally different view of like which steps I would take it. I said, go back. I'm gonna win the words. I'm gonna win the world cup that gave that CBJJO also have that gave money. I'm
Hey.
gonna get my brown belt so I can be back here again. Then exactly everything went according to the plan. Everything was going towards the right direction. And I mean, I wasn't there to expecting or waiting for another opportunity. I got this opportunity, and I'm still here until today. You know, I didn't want to waste it, and I didn't want to gamble. So with that opportunity, my entire life changed. And until today, I still waiting, and I've been asking him too, like, what do you want back?
Mm.
I asked Stefan, why you never ask me for anything? You did all this for my entire family. You changed my whole life, man, with one opportunity. For somebody that you saw for the first time in your life. What do you want back? I said, no, man, your success. That's exactly what I want. Make sure that you don't go to jail and make sure that you don't end it up back to zero again.
Yeah.
Now you saw the planet. And then, that was a bless. It was a big bless that I got.
It's amazing to have people like that in our lives, somebody that will
Yeah.
give you an opportunity to see something like that because, you know, even for somebody that's hardworking, coming from your situation, not everybody can leave Brazil and leave the favela and have a smooth transition. There's like cultural shock. It's very different, the language.
Yeah.
So even for a hardworking person in that situation, it's very easy for them to implode and not be successful and not have a good time, just because it's hard. It's really hard.
Yeah. I mean, imagine that. I'm a guy from Cantagalo, Rio de Janeiro. I ended up living in Stockholm, Sweden. I mean, 1 hour outside of Stockholm, a small city, countryside, trees everywhere, jungle everywhere. Deers come here, elks, fox. I used to see rats, cockroaches, you know, and the, the whole culture. My roots are Indians and African, they slaves, and I come here. The guys are Vikings. I thought Vikings was just meat when I came here. No, they say no, no, no. We come from those guys. And December in Rio, 40 degrees, summer. I used to be at the beach. Period, 100%. Arpoador from morning to night. you know, walk them to Copacabana, and there is a samba there, and we hang out on the beach. Then I come here, December, dark, 15 degrees below zero, snow everywhere, you know, and the language, wow, Swedish. How do you speak that if you don't born here, you know? So this for me was a big challenge, but the hardest thing that I have to deal with was when Sweden, by just the way it is, start to show me that many things that I was considered normal to happen, normal to face, normal to deal with, that happens in Brazil, it's not normal here. It's simple as that. You know, the police is not going to stop me the same way as the police stopped me in Brazil at all. Once I was with my family in the car, Saturday morning, and the police stopped the car. Hey, my adrenaline was high. I was panicking like, oh shit, what now? What have I done? And the guy came, asked me to take down the window and say, hi, good morning. Could you please blow in this? It's because we are doing an inspection, because since it's end of the month and yesterday was a Friday, people go out, people drink, and some people unfortunately can think that if they've been drinking and they sleep, they wake up, now the alcohol is still in the system. We have to check everybody. That was I was thinking to myself, like, that's all.
It's scary here too.
I was like, is that all? I just saw that was fine. Oh, please have a nice day.
Right.
Like, they waved to my kids, and I was like, so much adrenaline that I was feeling almost that I couldn't even drive. You know, like, too much adrenaline, because just for those kind of facts, you know, a simple thing, you know, that for me was things that was normal to deal in a different way if it would be in Brazil, by the experience that I had, you know. And for me, those things was what was the biggest challenge for me. Here people talk when they have a problem. In Brazil, they fight, they punch, they kick, they stab, and they shoot. You know, it's different. It's different. And I was like, you know, for me, this was the hardest things to deal with. The weather, we put jacket, we put clothes. In worst case, we put even a rash guard under ourselves and put the jacket over. The cold not gonna disturb you. And in the house, everywhere you have a heat. You know, all the houses it's prepared for the weather. The darkness, I mean, yeah, it's tough to deal with, but most of the time we are inside, or you are home. You're not going to be outside hanging out anyway. You know, the language, we learn. We're smart. We learn jiu-jitsu. That is a sport that never ends. Things change all the time, and we adapt to the game. We study 10 different guys to compete in one tournament. You know, we build the strategy according to who we are fighting, and sometimes during the fight we change strategy twice. You know, we adapt for everything. You know, but for me, the hardest thing was that, you know, understanding that many things that for me in my head was considered normal, here simply Sweden showed me to me that it's not. You know, and that was the challenge.
You've taught a lot of world-class guys before. Alexander Gustafsson, Adam Wardzinski, he's an animal. How have you balanced your competitive career with your coaching career?
Yeah, that's actually a very hard job, Tim. That I can tell you, though. It's hard, you know. But like I say, I have a lot of passion for this. You know, I think like I said in the beginning, for you succeed in something, for you get this inspiration and motivation to work towards something, you need the necessity or you need the passion. You know, with the passion, you don't see how much hours you put on this. You simply don't see yourself doing anything else. And time goes, and then you look at the clock, it's already midnight. You're like, oh shit, you know. So I have this passion for this. And when I see somebody coming to me and ask, Alan, can you help me in this? I believe that you can help me accomplish this specific thing that I have as a dream. So I see that person have a million different options out there, but still they choose me. And for me, it's like, wow, man, this guy, or he's crazy, or he really loved my work. You know, he trusts me on that. And when you see things happen in someone else's life and you get happy for it, it's what make even more things coming for you, for yourself, and for that person that is working with you. You know, so I knew that would come a time that I wouldn't be able to go to America or go to Brazil to train for my camps. So for a period, I dedicated myself hard to teach the guys so much, you know, invest all the time on preparing them, teaching them, and training with them so they could also feel and teach them how to think during situations. And what happened was that the guys started to become good enough to make me be able to prepare myself for the competitions with them. And the deficiency of having a hard training partner and have a quality in the training, after a while it started to disappear because the guys started to get better and improve. And I knew that sooner or later things would get even better because the hard part is just the beginning. But I remember that I took like three years of my life, you know, competing, but didn't win anything. It was 2010. And I get back and start to win tournaments again 2013, you know. So I think that all the athletes that when they start to do this transition to become a coach, their career gonna suffer a little bit of result and performance. Because I believe if you are doing both at the same time, I believe that this is natural. Imagine 1 year you only think about yourself, and another year you are thinking about you and 50 other persons. You know, so that the hardest thing was just like have the patience and during the times the results wasn't coming yet for the guys, find ways to keep them motivated to keep working. Make them understand that even though the result didn't came now, you did the right thing and you did what was supposed to be done, you know, and try to keep that guy believing. I think this is the hardest part, you know, and also yourself, because even though, you know, you train as hard as you can, you prepare yourself as hard as you can with what you have, and when you go for compete, you want to win. There's no other way. It's no other thing there. You're not trying. You're not doing for fun. It's simple. You want to win the tournament. There's no other explanation when you go to a contest, you know, and you don't care if the guys have been training more or less than you. You believe in yourself. Doesn't matter. And when the result don't come, and then you're like, shit, do I really have to keep doing that, or should I only focus on the other part? You know, when you are exactly in the middle of the journey, you know, this is the part where many people's boat sink. Actually, you know, it's exactly in the middle of the journey when both part is still 50%. You know, So for me, this was the hardest part. But once you just push, keep push. You give it. You if you keep giving. I mean, it's like if you go to the gym and you start to work out. You do it today. You come home, you look to yourself in the mirror. You're not gonna see anything.
Mm-mm.
You know, it's this like the constancy of of doing certain amount of minutes or hours a day that in the end you're gonna get the result. You know, so I just kept pushing. I kept believing. I tried to make the guys keep believing. Then one day, I don't know when, things simply start connected. It has been a hard work, hard work.
Nico?
I was gonna say, well, I think it definitely really is hard work to be a coach, because one thing that you mentioned about Terere and Hiko and yourself is just really needing to know your athletes personally. Like it wasn't until Hiko started pulling out like points of your life that he knew, because he knew you and he knew your family, that he was able to use that to inspire you. And that's what's amazing about jiu-jitsu, is it provides those kind of people, mentors, leaders, heroes, whatever you want to call them in somebody's life, because if you don't have that person to push you and encourage you, it's really hard to keep going. So I love that you are struggling to find that balance of like you being awesome and great in your own career, but making sure and fostering other people that are trying to do the same thing. That's really important. So that's awesome. So what are your plans for this year when everything opens back up?
Back to business. The business never ends. I mean, we had this break with Corona, but we use this time to invest in other areas that also going to lead into what we want to accomplish when things get back to normal again and the season start to, going on again. Right now it's a lot of working at the gym, and I'm studying a lot, reading a lot, and for sure, for me, things never gonna get back to normal. Things gonna be different for better. You know, I have different ideas and all that. What I'm waiting for, actually, it's the World Pro in Abu Dhabi, but I've been competing the whole Grand Slam season,
Yeah.
and it was just the World Pro that was left to get the money there from the sheikhs. And the UFC now, Alexander Gustafsson is planning to be back. It might fight against Fabrice Verdum, so the camp is already going. Yesterday, we were there smashing him at the gym. Me, him, and a few guys. It's a good thing that is happening now. I mean, Alex, he's a hard worker, and I can't see him work in the supermarket, for example. I say to him, what else are you going to do? You have to fight. You're a fighter, And then he finally decided to be back. I'm happy for the decision. The competitors, they are training. The BJJ team, they're training, not with the big numbers of people, but it's like some people have mats at home. They have like 4 people training here, 3 over there, 2. We are holding these Zoom classes where I show the techniques and talk to the things with the guys. I make my guys start to understand more the jiu-jitsu by trying to get familiar with the rules, even though I don't know the rules full. I told my guys, listen, now you have the time. Read that shit. Practice, watch fights. Keep feeding your mind. For once the gym is open, we're going to go back full like nothing happened. We're going to start pushing everything again, and make sure that you don't get fat. Because the guys, man, if I'm not on them, they relax. They relax. They relax. And then we have to work again, everything from the scratch. The plan is this, keep the work going, I also been talking with Adam today. Check it up. Things already start. The gym start to open again in Poland this week. So he already opened his gym. Everybody's back again, and it's just preparing and wait for the organizations to start to open the doors of the tournaments again.
So they're doing normal classes, or did they open up in Poland and they're doing like drilling and?
No. In Poland's no joke.
Man,
It's everything is 100%.
I have no.
They're even planning. No, they are even planning to do camps like already there.
Really?
They're open again, and it's like going full.
I think their numbers
every day
lower than ours, though.
Yeah, but also they didn't have so much cases of the disease over there. They could manage to keep things under control, and they had the plan. They also did the quarantine and the lockdown thing, so the health service from there could handle, so they did a good strategy. So that's why numbers going to increase again, of course, once you start opening everything again, but will not be everybody at the same time as the beginning of the pandemic. So I think that's why Finland also, I mean, the officers, the stores, they start open. Sweden never closed. Sweden, just the BJJ gyms, because wrestling gyms, judo, I mean, some MMA, especially the grappling part, the
high contact.
The Martial Arts Federation closed everything. So now we are just waiting for them to open up. But the Thai boxing classes still happening. Boxing section still happening. Gyms are open. People are working out. So we see things are starting to slowly get back to normal, but they already go three months, almost 4. Last time I rolled was in London, actually, when I fought the Grand Slam London, like 8th of March.
Oh man, yeah.
Till today, I haven't, I haven't done anything because, I mean, I had the possibility to go to somebody's house and train and all this, but as a head coach, as a trainer, I have this responsibility to try to make people understand. And also, my girlfriend, it's a nurse, and her father is a doctor. They have those small clinics in the cities, in the small cities outside of Stockholm, that they call Vård Centralen. And she's the boss there, and they get all the information. They have control of how the health service is working. And they ask people to, like, don't respect the social distance and all that thing, because I remember in the beginning, they was working hard. Many people was getting contaminated. And she say, if the system collapse, we have to choose who live and who die.
Yeah.
When things goes down, they say, I mean, we can't protect everybody. And then, okay, the youngest ones we try to save and let the old ones die. They have to send people from the hospital that have other kind of disease to die at home, so they could open space in case that Corona would make the system getting almost to collapse. So, and I had to show example. I can't tell the guys to, like, oh, guys, be careful. At the end of the day, everybody make their own decisions. And I respected that. But as a guy now in our position, I think we also need to lead by example. And my example was that I was training like outdoors, and I have some kettlebells, I have some gyms close to the house where I can do the weight workout and things like that, running, doing sprints and things like this. And I invite one student one time a week so I can talk to some kind of concept and techniques. And I make a Zoom meeting with all my students, and everybody's there watching. Everyone, they have the possibility to do some technique with the partner, or at home, or in the gyms, or anywhere. They are doing that, or the other ones are taking a lot of notice. I try to keep the team together and try to show them that I'm with them, because it's easier for people to just give up in the sport now,
Yeah.
especially when they're not having trainings. I mean, and some guys they even still paying the gym even though the gym is closed. They say, Alan, I'm gonna keep supporting you, man. You're not gonna be alone in that. So I feel that I have responsibility towards everybody, and I can't let it go. You know?
You have a good bond with your students.
Yeah, yeah. That's the, like I say, it's how I don't know how other people doing, but it's the way that I think is the right way to do for me, and my way to also show loyalty to the people that work with me, that train with me every day for many years, and the guys that also that just started. You know, my way to try to make them understand that this is gonna pass is by try to keep everybody connected somehow. You know.
Right, awesome.
That's incredible, man. That's incredible. Nico, you have any more questions?
No, that wraps it up pretty much, man.
Hey, thanks for coming on the show. Is there anything that you'd like to promote? Anybody you want to shout out?
No, man. Of course, I first of all, I would like to say thanks to you guys for the opportunity. I always like to share my history and how my life is. Uh, Also, my sponsors, you know, Sure, especially is the guys have been looked up after me for the last 1 year, and they have done a great job with me. I'm very grateful and thankful for them there. Tony, all the guys, uh, for also after all this situation that have been happening, you know, I just wanna say for to all the black people out there that have been going through all these hard times lately, you know, that you guys are not alone. I'm one of you also. You know, doesn't matter if you live in America, in Brazil, or anywhere in the world. You know, we all one. You know, our fight have been, you know, going on forever. You know, if any kind of book you read about the history, you're gonna see that our people have been through a lot. You know, and I believe that our parents, they have been through worse time than us, so we could today speak up and try to make the difference and the changes. You know, we know that the world that we are living now, it's not the kindest one, and not gonna be, but we probably gonna leave a better place for our kids, because if they are our kids, they are black, you know, and we're not gonna leave this world and let they go through exactly the same thing as we've been through. We have to leave it better for them, you know, and we're gonna stand for each other, no matter what, whatever it takes. You know, we always gonna be try to make everybody respect us in a way that they want for themselves. This all life matters things, you know. I understand the point of view of the people that say this, but my point of view is different. If if this thing that people say would be applied in reality, the Black Lives Matter things wouldn't be happening today. First of all, you know. So the Black Lives Matter thing comes exactly because all the black people want to say that all lives matter. Because in theory, everybody have been applying this, but in reality, this absolutely never happened, you know. And also, the guys that keep saying that, my point of view is simple. I see a person that goes to someone else's birthday and start complaining like, what about my birthday? you know, you know?
Right.
So all we want to say and all we want to ask you for is that, guys, stop killing us. This is what literally what our people is screaming, is begging, is that is not stopping beating us, because this time we already overcame and we already got used to it. It's not stop disrespecting us anymore. It's about stop killing us. Kill is the worst thing you can do towards another human, and this is what we are begging to stop. 1965, if I'm right. That was the Selma March, led by Martin Luther King. Was the most passive demonstration that I ever see. One of the most passive protests that I ever see in the history. How the authorities react towards them. You know, I say to people, if you don't like to read, fine, Google it. If you don't want to Google it, watch the movie Selma. There is that, and this is history. You know, and the way things are going down now, of course, it's hard, and I don't agree with people break anyone's place, you know, but our people it's suffocating, man. Come on, how are you gonna? I look at my kids, brother, you know, and I thought the worst days of my life already passed when I lost my father, when I lost my brothers, the struggle that we've been through in the favela, but actually not. You know, I know when the worst day of my life gonna come, and I'm super afraid of. It's the day that I have to face all my three childs, sit them down and say, listen, because of the color of your skin, you're gonna go through discrimination. You're gonna go through racism. And sometimes I'm gonna be there to protect you. And sometimes I'm not gonna be there to protect you. You know, and all I wanna do is make sure that you know how to deal with it. Speak up, stand for yourself. Don't lose your right. And never be ashamed of being Black. You know, and this will be the hardest day of my life. Together with the day when this happened to them, and I not be there to protect them. And I don't know how things can end it up. So if we want to make the difference for our kids, now's the time. You know, this is the biggest shout out I want to give, you know, out for all the Black people out there, you know, that we're going to stand together, man. And no matter what happened, in a good way, in a bad way, we're going to leave a better planet for our kids. That's it.
That's beautiful, Finfou. Thanks for coming on, brother. We need more voices like that. Yeah, that's part of why I linked up with Nico, because I know no matter where we're from, I could be in DC, you're Cantagalo, brothers in Europe, everywhere. We got to come together and say we're not going to take that. For me, it was hard to watch some of the reactions from people in our own jiu-jitsu community.
Oh, man, shit. You know, so, Tim, man, like 4 or 5 days ago, I came home, you know, put the kids to bed. I was sitting in the couch, man, and I couldn't sleep, bro. I started to cry.
Yeah.
You know, I cried because actually I was sad, man. I was disappointed. My girlfriend heard me and she came and asked what was up, and I was saying to her. Some guys that I have as a friend, man, that I have like a lot of respect, you know, as I thought that, you know, no, man, I didn't have that. I didn't have these people, man. Some people really disappointed me, you know, and I was pissed at them. I was mad at them. I was sad. But then later on, I said to myself, listen, man, we have to find something to believe on. I have to believe on something out of it. So, and then I started thinking more and more, but actually, I should actually be thankful to them, because they show to me exactly where I have them now. They show to me exactly the truly persons they are, you know, and many times, Tim, you know, people are like this. They say things disrespectful when you are there, but then when you say something, they look at you and say, "But no, but you are different." Come on, man. What are you talking about, man? No, man. No. this is wrong. You know, wrong is wrong. Doesn't matter. It's wrong. You know, and I, man, some people I actually surprises me in a good way, but some people disappointed me, man. Disappointed me in ways that I'm not gonna hate them. I'm not gonna love them. They simply, how to say, they're just a body walk now for
Yeah.
me. You know, because it's not about the guy that died in America and he is from Brazil and he lives in Sweden. Because it's like what happened with this guy happened to my brother in Brazil, happened to my friends in Brazil, in the hand of the same kind of guy that took away this guy's life.
Yeah.
And and then, you know, I have friends that are police, close friends that are police. And I never said that I hate the police because I'm not.
Yeah. And
I
now's
hate
not a
the
time
guy
to
that
discuss.
did something specific towards the one that I love. You know, I can't make things in general because people are different. There are great cops and there are bad cops. Yes, that's why I don't say that everybody is the same.
Because then you would be just as bad as the people that do it to us.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's not a time
Exactly the way I
to
think.
discuss whether there's good cops or bad cops right now. It's kind of a time to mourn the loss and mourn the fact that this has been going on for decades. You know, nothing
Centuries.
changed because people are unwilling to just have that little bit of understanding right now. You know, it's
True.
very
You know,
emotionally draining.
it's it's hard, man, for all of us. And in another hand, I just think like some people they talk about things that they never experienced. They don't know what they are talking about, but they are out there saying things. You know, they can't talk about what it is. If a guy it's let's say a Brazilian blonde guy with a green eye that born in a perfect family in a great environment, he can't open his mouth to talk about how a black poor person need to behave or need to think because he comes from a totally different reality. I understand the way he thinks because his opinion is based by his reality. He must to also understand that our reality is different. You know, I don't know in my mind, for example, let's say one sheikh, for example, from Emirates, he have the perfect life. He have all the money that he have, but there are struggles that those guys go through. But I don't know what it is. So I never gonna open my mouth to have opinion of a life of a person that is a millionaire because everything I say is just fantasy, and fantasy is fantasy, doesn't exist. The same way they can't open their mouth and say, I know that the guys from favela, they exaggerate. It can't be like this. It's not like that. You don't know. You know, even though your opinion is can be whatever it is, but you don't know the reality. So I recommend to just be quiet instead. You know, but what I heard some guys say, and I read some guys say, I was like, my God, man, no, no. Like Tim say, especially in the jiu-jitsu community, man. You know, but the community is too big. You know, there will be every kind of people there. You know, I believe that, but also a lot of people that never been live in a favela, not black, have a good financial situation, they also embrace the cause. I saw they also fighting. I saw some guys write it to me and
Yeah.
ask how I'm doing according to all the situation because they know that this can affect a lot of people, you know, and even so they wrote it to me and asked how I was doing and stand for the cause and wrote things that support the movement. You know, people just need to be happy that they don't need the movement to be here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they don't need the movement. Be happy for that. This is all we want. be respected and be treated as a human beings. How hard can it be? In 2020, come on.
Well, listen, we're going to work together to make sure that things get right so the next generation doesn't have to deal with it. And I think you telling us your story has made a huge difference. Alan, I respect you for the utmost. I remember I met you in Abu Dhabi. You're a good dude. I respect everything you do for the community everywhere. You're such a great role model. Thanks for coming on. Nico, anything you'd like to say before we wrap?
No, just want to say thanks for coming on. It's great to see you again, and hopefully we'll meet up at a competition sometime soon.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Soon.
Yes. Thank you.
This has been the BJJ Goons podcast. Make sure you like, share, subscribe the video. Listen to us on all podcasting platforms. You can see me at timspriggsbjj.com or Tim Spriggs BJJ at Facebook. Nico?
I'm on No Nico on Instagram and also Favela Jiu-Jitsu. Make sure to follow Favela Jiu-Jitsu on Instagram, YouTube, and we have a new website.
Hey, guys,
Perfect.
stay safe out there. God bless you. Peace and blessings.